Hello all, welcome to this month's edition of Pallikkutam Digest for Teachers, brought to you by Rajagiri Media. Each month, we bring you insight from the latest educational research to support your growth, voice, and leadership in the classroom. Our theme for the month is redefining teaching in changing times, from cultural responsiveness to AI, from pandemic lessons to pedagogical innovation. This edition highlights how educators everywhere are adapting with resilience, purpose, and care. Here is the first story: honoring indigenous knowledge in STEM education. Let's begin in the United States, where Elisa Sherry Shive from the Texas Tech University conducted a systematic review published in 2025 in the Journal of Research in Science, Mathematics, and Technology Education. 2009 to 2024 focused on integrating indigenous knowledge system IKS into STEM professional development for K-12 teachers. The findings are powerful. Many programs are still dominated by Western approaches, often marginalizing indigenous ways of knowing. But strategies like place based learning, storytelling, and partnership with indigenous communities offer hope. This research calls for professional development that goes beyond content to foster critical consciousness, address epistemic inequality, and build equitable, inclusive practices in STEM education. As educators, we must ask, whose knowledge do we value, and how can our teaching open space for all voices to be heard? Here is the second story: teaching art in the age of AI. Now we turn to South Korea, where Hyunjeong Lee from Hanyang University led a study published in 2024 by the Society for Art Education of Korea. The focus: how art teachers are redefining their roles in the age of AI. Through AI centered lesson design and creative sessions with gifted students, the study revealed three unique roles for the art educators today. 1. Facilitating moments of pause. 2. Posing meaningful questions. 3. Respecting and adapting to differences. Despite the rise of technology, the study reaffirms that art teachers remain central in shaping emotional depth, critical reflection, and creative identity. Let's remember, AI might assist creation, but it cannot replace your intuition, your interpretation, or the soul you bring into the studio and the classroom. The third story: the psychology of crisis and the future of support. COVID-19 changed more than our schedules, it reshaped how support services function in schools. In Cyprus, Panagiotis Parpatas from the European University of Cyprus published a 2025 review in Psychology International on the disruptions and adaptations in person psychological therapy during the pandemic. Many sessions were paused or moved online. Therapists struggled with engagement, emotional connection, and trust. But the crisis also brought opportunities: greater flexibility, accessibility, and acceptance of digital tools. This study helps us see the broader lesson. Mental health support must evolve with us. As teachers, your role in recognizing stress, building empathy, and connecting students to support has never been more important. Education and well being go hand in hand. Don't hesitate to reach out, refer, or simply listen. The fourth story: breaking barriers to student centered pedagogy. In Malawi, researchers Cedric Mpaso Tsuksufu of Southwest University, China, and Jane Tokosani Banda from Malawi Ministry of Higher Education investigated the struggles in adopting student-centered pedagogy (SCP). Published in 2025 in the Journal of Classroom Practices, the study involved interviews with teachers across various secondary schools. Using atlas.ti23 for thematic analysis, they identified three key barriers. 1. Inadequate teacher training. 2. Limited resources. 3. Resistance to change. Yet the value of SCP aligned with SDG for quality education is clear. Active learning, student voice, and meaningful interaction are essential for deep, lasting learning. For change to happen, teachers need not only training but trust, time, and tools. This research invites you to reflect what small shift could make your classroom more learner centered this month. Here is the final story, embracing diversity in a multicultural world. Finally, we look at multicultural classrooms. Ifan Yang from Henan University of Technology, China, published a 2025 paper in Lecture Notes in Education Psychology and Public Media on the evolving roles of teachers in multicultural education. As classrooms diversify, so must our roles as mediators, guides, and facilitators of cultural understanding. Teaching content is not enough. We must also teach compassion, respect, and connection. This study recommends teacher training and curriculum reforms that support diversity, inclusion, and mutual understanding. The message is simple but urgent. Your classroom is not just a space for knowledge, but for community. That's all. From equity in STEM to art in the digital age, from emotional well being to cultural responsiveness, this month's stories reminds us that teaching is evolving and so are we. Here is your teacher challenge of the month. Choose one classroom practice this month to revisit or redesign through the lens of equity, inclusion, or creativity. Share it with a colleague and reflect on the impact together. You are more than an instructor. You are a change maker, a listener, a leader. And every step that you take builds a more inclusive and inspiring future for your students. Thank you for joining us for Pallikkutam Digest for Teachers, brought to you by Rajagiri Media. We will see you next month with new voices, new visions, and new ways to grow together. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.